Hey guys, Poplar Mechanic here in the garage. It is Saturday and we are out here and we're going to take a look at the Stihl MS 150 TC. I recently purchased it. It was on sale. I think I paid about $400 for it. It's a pretty good saw. I think it needs a muffler mod pretty badly, so we're going to do that here today. Let's take a look at the saw. Okay guys, so here's the 150 TC. It's a nice little saw. You can see how small and light it is. It's not quite as light as the Echo. I'm not going to get into too many details about comparing those. I'll do another video later. Right now though, I do feel that it's got quite a bit less power than the Echo. Mind you, I did do mods to the Echo which helped it substantially. I'll leave a link in the description for that video if you're interested in that. The mods actually turned out to work pretty good. There are some likes and dislikes I have about the Echo, but like I said, I'll get into that later. This is a good little saw. It comes with everything you need. It comes with the quarter pitch setup. The 43 gauge comes with a 12-inch bar. I wish it was a 14. You may be able to get a 14 in your area. It's just a really good light little chainsaw for trimming and stuff like that. And like I said, this one here feels a little bit more gutless out of the box. I haven't done anything to it other than take the spark arrestor out. I've got about, I don't know, I'm going to say 30 tanks through this because we had a big trimming job in a cemetery, and I just decided to just use this thing the whole time. So done quite a bit of work with it. I just cleaned it up and blew it off a little bit. It's a nice light little saw. I love the quality. The quality is really high in these Stihl chainsaws, as you'd expect. So what we're going to do today is take the muffler off and give it a little mod. Like I said, I did take the spark arrestor out, and the reason for that is because it started running slower and slower and slower. There was quite a bit of carbon built up on there. I'm not sure why there was so much in this particular case, but I was able to pull that out right on site, and it started running good again. It's still a little bit underpowered, like I said. Now, I'm not going to get into the timing advance. I heard it works really well on this one. I'm not going to do that today. I just don't have time. So what we're going to do is take the muffler out, open it up, and we'll see what she does. Alright, we'll see you guys then. Okay guys, so basically I've taken the bar and chain off and the side cover plate. Keep in mind this is not a captive nut on this one, so don't lose it if you're working in a weird situation. So you can see the muffler here. So the exhaust comes kind of weird out of this one. There's no holes in the cover plate here. So you don't... Whoop, there goes the nut. So you don't want to drill holes in the side. I guess you could if you wanted to modify this, but in my case, I think there's going to be enough room to open it up the way that I want to and still have it shoot out of the bottom here. And that's just how the exhaust works on this one. Okay, so basically you got two T27 bolts on here. You'll be taking them out. There's one here, and apparently from what I've seen, this thing will just slide out, just kind of a standard muffler for a Stihl. And from what I've read, there is no gasket in there, but I'm going to keep my eyes peeled anyways. So I'll go ahead and pop these off and we'll see if she slides out. Okay, so that was excuse me, that was super easy guys. This literally just pulled those two bolts out and this just fell right out of there. There is no gasket on either part of these. There's just these little tabs. It slides up, and I can see the base gasket in there, which might be a good idea to remove that in the near future. Get a little more compression out of it, but I'll see. I don't want to get into that just yet. Lots of time for that in the winter. So anyways, yeah, that was super easy. Two bolts right there sitting on the bar. Let's have a look at the muffler. So now you've ended up with this. Not a huge deal. Let's go ahead and pop this little reflector plate off. Just a little bolt in there. She's going to come right out. Okay. So that's the reflector plate, and that's where you'll see there's a little spark arrestor screen there. Like I said, I removed mine because it was basically unusable after about 20 tanks. So that's something to keep in mind. You can always put it back after the fact too. It's not a big deal. You can run it. You know, I mix my own fuel, guys. If you're just a homeowner or whatever, you're not sawing that much, you can just buy those pre-mixed bottles. It's probably way better for your machine in the long run. But I mean, I haven't had any issues mixing my own. But we go through a lot of saw gas, so that's just my opinion on that. Okay, so here's where the exhaust exits the muffler. It might be tough to see. I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit close here. I'll get some light on the situation here. Okay, it might be tough to see, but about right there you can see that little hole that's in the center, and there's still room on the sides to open that up. So I'm going to use a Dremel tool to get from side to side here and just clean that opening up and give it a lot more airflow. So it's kind of tough for me to judge if you guys can see this or not. Try to get a better shot of it here. There, right there, you can see that little hole in the center. And basically what you're going to do is just remove this side stuff all the way to the edge without damaging any other part of the muffler, just opening that up. So I'm going to put her in the vise now, guys, and I'll get my Dremel set up, and then we'll see you at the bench. Okay, guys, so I finished hogging her out, and you can just see that whole area. I've just used it all because I feel this thing needed a lot more. I've seen some guys just do it part way, but I would use all the room you have there. It's not going to hurt nothing. So that's opened right up. I know it's probably not the best to see, but it's just a straight hole in there. And another thing, obviously wear safety glasses, guys. I was wearing my glasses, just you don't want to get this metal in your eyes. And you can clean that up as good as you want, whatever you figure. But yeah, that should make a big improvement. Another thing, I do have compressed air in here, so I'll be blowing this out. You want to make sure you do a really good job of blowing this out. Make sure you don't get any metal back into the piston and cylinder area. So I'm just going to do a really good job blowing this out. I'm going to put her back together and we'll see how she sounds. Okay, before we put her back together here, guys, one more thing. I'm actually going to take this line out. Now, you don't really need this. It's kind of just impeding flow. Sorry, I'm out of the frame there. Just this little line here. There's a little line that runs there. I'm gonna remove that as well to improve airflow. Okay, guys, so I got her all put back together here. Super easy to do, not a problem at all. Everything went together fine. Put the 2 bolts in. If you want to Loctite these, you can go ahead and do that. In my case, I'm not going to because I might be going back in there, so I don't want it super hard to get the bolts out. But anyways, yeah, if you want to Loctite those, go ahead. It's a common thing people do to prevent it from rattling loose. So anyways, guys, there's only one last thing to do, and that's fire it up and see how it sounds. So this is dead cold. So basically you just got your choke lever here, right? You'll choke it. If you can see that there's fuel in there, I might just give it one, yeah. So there's fuel in the primer. You should never really have to prime this if you're using it every day. I haven't had to prime it once except the first time I used it. And then on the throttle of this one, you've got off, on, and then half choke or whatever. So I got her in full choke right here. The switch is on. We'll give her a pull. And once she kicks, shut the choke off, or if it shuts off, you know how to start this off. Come on, guys. She sounds a million million times better. Alright guys, well she sounds really good. Honestly, I think that's one of the most beneficial things you can do to this saw. That exhaust port is just way too small in my opinion. It sounds a lot better now, but it's still doing that thing. It's almost like it's got like a delay when you press the trigger, and I don't know if that has to do with timing or how it's set. I noticed it's set a little bit rich on the high end just out of the factory there, so I didn't adjust anything, and I won't right now. Because the saw is running good. I'll have to get it in some wood, break it in a little bit more, and then I'll lean it out a little bit. It's not a big deal to lean it out later. I may actually do that today. Okay guys, so I did end up leaning out the high end a little bit. It's probably hard for you to see, but that is not a light brown color on the spark plug here. I just decided to inspect it after I leaned out the high a little bit. I didn't remove the limiter caps or anything. I stayed within the limiter for now, but the leaning it out in combination with the muffler mod should have it running perfect. So I'm just going to clean this carbon off there. You can see it's running rich, so that's probably why the spark arrestor came off. I should have known that right away, but it doesn't hurt to break it in a little bit richer until it gets, the cylinder gets used to the or the piston gets used to the cylinder and everything breaks in nicely. But yeah, you can see there all that carbon. That's just way too much, so leaning it out was definitely the thing to do. I just turned it to the maximum within the limiters. I didn't remove the caps, not yet anyways. If I feel I need to do that, I'll let you guys know. But anyways, yeah, it's probably a good idea to do that, and I just wanted to mention that to you guys. Okay guys, so now that I got the carb, after figuring out that it was running way too rich, which was kind of obvious, and it's kind of a common thing, not for all saws, but a lot of them. So now that I've got her adjusted, so basically I took it to pretty close to the max setting of the limiter, just because the saw is still fairly new. And I mean, you can do whatever you want in your situation depending on how, your saw feels and how it cuts and things like that. Now I'm not going to be able to get it into any wood today, but I will, like I said, do that comparison video of the 2511 and this one, see how they compare. But this saw, I can tell, is a lot better than it was. It was just going from like a doggy, leggy kind of feeling. It's still cut nice because it's got the quarter pitch chain, but it just wasn't quite up to par with what I'm used to and with what I expect from my chainsaws. So here she is with the carburetor adjusted, just the high jet leaned a little bit. It's noticeably better. Okay, so I know revving it like that isn't really showing much, but it is showing that the chain is, it's a little bit better throttle response. And I'm not going to mess with the low jet right now. I'd like to do the timing advance before I do that, but if you feel you need to tweak it a little bit to get that throttle response, then that's what you need to do. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to thank you for 700 subs. That's awesome. I never thought I'd really get this far making these videos, but I appreciate all the support, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.